rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The value of action doesn't make a difference whether it's from male or female. That value is given to the action. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give it the reward. This is the value of the action. The other aspect of it, the creation, in creation, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to talk about the creation of human beings, He talks about the creation of man and woman, or men and women, as it being that the body, the physical body is prepared. It comes to a stage. When it's prepared, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala breathes His soul according to the verses, which means that the soul that the human being has is so sacred that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, it's my soul that I'm breathing it into. It doesn't mean that it's, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has this body and a soul, and that soul has different parts of it, and part of that is being cut off and given to. That's not what it means. It's showing how sacred it is, and the wording is used, is that this is the soul of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So anyhow, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the soul of Allah being breathed into human beings, He says this is for men and women. So that what makes the human being a human being, the soul, it's not the body that makes us what we are. Okay? When we die, that body turns into whatever it turns into. Okay? That's not us. It's the soul that makes what we are. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran says that this is God's soul. Does make a difference. Reading these verses of the Holy Quran and finding this clear-cut principle that is mentioned not in one verse, in a number of verses that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the creation of mankind. When we read such hadith, if it is said by the Prophet, the meaning of it, the reason why it's said, it does not mean that women are subordinate or inferior to men. That's not what it means. In this particular hadith, if you see, the words that are used are deficiency in religion and deficiency in intellect. Okay. But then, when the lady asks, what do you mean? Like, where does that come from? The Prophet refers to two verses or two aspects of the religion. They both deal with practical laws. One of them is the concept of testifying in a court, that according to the Holy Quran, in Surah Baqarah, I think it's 282, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that you either have two men or one man and two women. Okay, so two women, their testimony is considered the same as one man. That's what the Holy Prophet is referring to. But when you refer to the verse, okay, the reasoning behind that is mentioned is a concept of memory. It says, أَن تَدِلَّ إِحْدَاهُمَا فَتُذَكِّرَ إِحْدَاهُمَا الْأُخْرَى. It's not saying that women are inferior, that they're bad, that they're incomplete beings. It's saying that in memory, which is not the essence of the human being, okay, there's, if we get time, I don't know if I have time, there's a deficiency, let's use this word as the Prophet has used, there in the concept of the memory. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, for that reason, women, if they're going to be testifying, two women are going to be testifying in place of one man. Okay. Now why that is, what is this thing about memory? That's something that maybe we can get to. But the clear-cut principle that we find in the Holy Quran is that men and women are not, it's not like one of them is superior and the other one is inferior. We don't find that. The intellect that is mentioned in the hadith is, there's a difference when we say intellect and memory. Memory and intellect are two different things. Okay. So the aql that is mentioned there is not the aql that we usually talk about to say that, women are stupid and men are the ones that are wise. That's not what it is. Okay. It makes reference to that verse, and some of the other ahadith that talk about this also make the reference to the verse. So whatever that means, okay, whatever that means is not that women have got less intellect or that they are less wise than men are. Some of these scholars, when they've come to these ahadith, someone like Allama Tabatabai, the way he explains the concept of